Hi, I'm Lindsey, and I'm talking with medtech industry leaders on how they change lives for a better world.
The inventions and technologies are fascinating, and so are the people who work with them.
There was a period of time where I realized fundamentally my job was to go hang out with really smart people that are saving lives and then do work that would help them save more lives.
I got into the business to save lives, and it is incredibly motivating to work with people who are in that same business, saving or improving lives.
What better industry than where I get to wake up every day and just save people's lives?
These are extraordinary people doing extraordinary work, and this is The Leading Difference. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Leading Difference podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey, and today I'm delighted to welcome as my guest, Emily Muir. Emily serves as the Director of Sales and Marketing at Ontogen MedTech. Her work focuses on enhancing business performance through strategic new business sales and channel partner collaborations. Throughout her career, she has developed expertise in business reviews, retail strategies, and employee training. Her goal is to contribute to organizational success by leveraging her skills in building partnerships and driving growth across competitive markets. All right. Well, welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here today, Emily. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Lindsey. I'm so excited to be here.
Hey. Yes. Well, absolutely thrilled to have you on. And I was just wondering if you'd start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what led you to MedTech.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good one. I would love to. So, full name, my name is Emily Muir. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing at Ontogen MedTech. We are located in the suburbs of Chicago. And Ontogen MedTech is a contract development and manufacturing company that helps medtech innovators really bring their visions and their devices to life. My path to this position is not linear, however, not even close, which I've really come to as my superpower. I really started out in retail merchandising. My degree's in retail merchandising, and I started merchandising women's shoes and handbags in probably every department store in the Midwest that you can think of. So I know where all the good deals are, essentially. Yeah, which is great to have if you're a girlfriend of mine. But about 10 years into that, I pivoted into medical device sales. I'm starting to cut my teeth on dental implant sales. And then I moved into the optical space. And now seeing how really the sauce is made with product development. And really, I fell in love with the industry, being able to have an impact on a patient's life, see it in real time, educating their physicians and staff, and really the complexity that comes with that is really what stole my heart. So along the way, I worked at a startup called Abulux. They're a migraine lens company. And that's really where I caught that startup bug, like a lot of people do. This really gave me wonderful insight into what makes startup companies successful, really from a commercial standpoint. And then in late 2025, I left and joined Ontogen MedTech. And now I'm here building our entire sales and marketing function from the ground up, which is a daunting challenge and task. And that's kind of what I thrive on. So they really nailed, in my opinion, the right candidate for the position here. But, outside of work, I really love to foster dogs. I'm very passionate about rescuing dogs. I have 2 rescues of my own. And there's something about giving a second chance to something that's really been overlooked that really resonates with me. And personally, I really love watching the rescue dogs decompress and really melt into incredible companions. Truly, I just think that they need the right partner and the right environment in order to thrive and be successful.
Yeah, I love that. And so I'm curious, I have so many questions, of course, but okay, so we're going to start with well, I guess we'll go back first. So you started with retail merchandising and you worked for a lot of different corporations. What were some of the lessons that you learned for that And during all those experiences, that translated really well into medtech sales and now marketing and whatnot.
One word: relationships. Those are crucial. Working in the back rooms of department stores as a retail merchandising rep, you had to figure out who to talk to quickly. Who was the right person? Was it a sales rep to promote your product on the floor? How did I get frontline exposure? And do I need to get out there and get dirty to sell my product? Fostering those relationships really helped me understand how to be successful in sales. And that is something through and through, no matter what industry you're in, and especially the med tech product development industry. You have to have strong relationships in order to get your point of view across, in order to effectively communicate your value proposition, and to know who to talk to help founders find you. There are so many people building in this space, and you always hear the noise out there of people saying, you need to find the right partners, you need to find the right support. And who's going to help you determine that? Who's truly going to help lead you through all of this? It's finding the people that have the direct access to the founders to help them get into your pipeline so that you can really have that direct experience with them and help them bring their products to life. So if I don't know who those players are and they can't find me, I can't be successful in my role at all. So that is something I always think about coming into this every single day. What can I give to someone else? Who can I talk to? What part of my network can I reach out to so that I can give the right resources, I can give the right message, and we can all grow collectively.
I love that. And I think to your point, it is so important to nurture those relationships. In general, I would say that's just good life advice. But at the same
Yes.
time, yeah, but at the same time, I would say what I appreciate about this industry is that, yes, there's so many players in the space and it's huge, but at the same time, it feels small. So your relationships really do matter in terms of like how you're coming across, how you're perceived, but just in general, building that know, like, and trust factor, which again is really important for your sales and marketing strategy too. So yeah, I love the fact that's a key thing that you took away. And, sometimes I feel like things in our past that aren't directly related to what we're doing now might feel, I don't know, like, oh, what did I get from that? Or how does this help me? But to your point, so many skills learned along the way that help you now.
Absolutely. When I made the decision to go from the retail merchandising world in a hard pivot into medical device sales, I I really had to step back and say, oh, okay, what are those transferable skills that I can use to get me there? What do I already know in terms of a process that I can parlay into this? And how can I create that story so that that my future boss, the recruiter, is going to understand where I've been and where I want to go. So that was crucial. The story of that is crucial in order to help someone else understand how to leverage you within their company too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so let's talk about maybe that transition too between having worked in maybe larger corporations or for larger companies and then going from that to startup life, which is often an adjustment. So I'd just be curious to know how has that been and what lessons have you learned from that journey?
Oh yeah, that really is because I did go from a very large company. I worked for EssilorLuxottica for 6 years as a sales rep for them, one of the, arguably the largest player in the optical world, to a startup. And what I really took away is that, well, some of the lessons of working in a big company really do work well coming into a startup life. And that is really, how do you self-direct yourself and learn. Because in a big company, sometimes there isn't always someone there to hold your hand and navigate that. And, I did the same thing from not only changing industries, going from retail merchandising into implants, implant sales. And then I went into another industry of the optical world, which is very different. So I had to learn a whole new vernacular. I had to get certified in order to be a speaker there, in order to understand what I was talking about. And having the self direction of, okay, I need to get this done. Who do I need to talk to within my own company? What resources do I already have? And what do I need to figure out in order to get my job done or create myself were lessons I had already experienced within that big company. And maybe many don't think that's something you're going to learn there, but it actually sets you up really nicely to be in a startup because those are all things you have to navigate on your own and show how you succeeded in that. So, kind of with those lessons and having that under my belt already, coming and leading within a startup space, I was really able to sit back and say, okay, so if everything I do, I imagine that I have, multiple staff already, right? That, if I have a new employee, what resources do I need to have in order to help them out? And that really helps direct my everyday. So having that startup experience, I loved it. Again, got that bug and I just wanted more of it. And I did have one of my founders say the other day, he was like, you're just made for that. You're made for taking on this. Like I go, yeah, what else do we need to have done? What do we need to create? Yeah, let's get in there. Let's get dirty. I think it's really about getting in there and getting your hands dirty and just saying, what else? How do I? And then being as resourceful as you can to get it done. Because there's always somebody who knows something. There's always someone who's kind of done something before. That's really where your startup experience puts all of those pieces together for you.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So, okay. So that reminded me too of like, your point of, really getting in there, being self-directed, all of that good stuff. When you first joined the medical device industry, I'm curious what your experience was. How was that learning curve for you? Because I remember coming into it and like, I would start listening in on conversations and learning and, absorbing. And there was a lot of that right at the beginning. And I remember sometimes people would say a full sentence that was just acronyms or ISO something. And I was like, I have no idea what you're saying right now. So anyway, it's lots of learning and curiosity helped to bridge that gap. But for you, what was that like?
I do pride myself on being pretty good at social cues. So, you go, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can. Yeah. And you just really take note of every word that's being said and really look it up later or tell me more about that. It's the curiosity aspect of it, but you do have to do your homework. You do have to, you're in your everyday and you have to acknowledge that there is additional homework when you get home or have a friend. I always like to say I would have a friend to ask for dumb questions. We all know the saying, like, there is no such thing as a dumb question. There are, I think, sometimes, or at least you feel that, that the feeling of the dumb question is real. So, really having someone either who's in it with you starting out or who you can really use to help you understand, who can guide you, if you can have a mentor. Otherwise, somebody who you can just call who's been in there maybe one more day than you have and say, hey, can you help me understand what they said here? I think this is the context. I'm a big believer in doing your own research first, trying to figure it out yourselves, and then going to someone and asking for greater context, asking for a layman's term of it. But it is important that you understand that you're going to be doing extra research on your own. And that's a really important part of getting into a new industry is being able, whether you're a founder or, you're a leader in something new, or you just have to dive in and understand there's going to be extra work, but it's going to be worth it. And honestly, in my opinion, I think you learn faster that way because you can digest it on your own.
Yeah. Okay. So I love the idea of having a buddy. And I was very, I think, lucky that when I first joined the industry, I was really surrounded by, I would say, buddies, colleagues who were just super open and happy to answer anything or explain anything more. And I remember just having this notebook of just like so many notes about all the things. But you're right. You have to
Yes.
be self-directed in that too and recognize that there is a learning curve, but also give yourself grace for that learning curve because I think unfair perhaps and I'm very guilty of this. I expect a lot of myself. So, I'm like, here we go. And, gung ho and like wanting to be as accurate as possible, as quickly as possible, which is a good thing. But at the same time, giving yourself grace to know that you're probably going to slip up every once, in a while. You're going to call something the wrong name. Okay. That's okay too. Just being okay with that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful. And at Fleur Luxottica, I had one person in particular that really took me under her wing and helped direct me. She was a former manager at another company and really was like, Emily, you need to go here. Emily, you need to look this up. Emily, this is how this is, and saying, okay, yeah, just tell me where to go, who to talk to, and I'll do it. And we've created a really nice working relationship in that way. But not everybody has that. So it is wonderful to give yourself grace and know that there will be a point where it all clicks. And that's what I think about every single day is that, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year in, where all of a sudden you explain something flawlessly or you get that, customer, you explain everything, like the product, like it's the world aligns, you get that sale, or, and like somebody looks at you like normal again, like, those are the wonderful moments and they will all happen. So as a leader, I think it's also good to understand that if you bring someone on that's new, to really try to set them up for a success, and that most people don't want, they're so hard on themselves coming into something new, and to just make sure you guide them appropriately, let them know maybe sometimes people cry. It's tough, like it's and you're laughing, and I hope everyone else who's listening is laughing too, because there's always that one moment where you're like, I swear I hit my breaking point today when you're trying something new, like the world is not working out. Maybe you slipped up and said something, you sent the wrong email to
Yep.
someone, there's always something. And, understand that these things happen. We don't need to beat ourselves up about it, and to gently correct. We can correct or, say, hey, maybe we could say it like this, or, I understand how you might have used that in this context, but this is what, just gently redirect.
Yeah. I love that. And that's beautiful leadership advice in general. And something that I think isn't talked about enough. I think there's a lot of talk about, mentorship and sort of empowering people. There's a lot of great leadership advice out there, of course, but I really like the way that you put it and really, like you said, just helping your team be set up for success. And so I'm actually curious, that's a good segue. So now you, as a leader, are building out a sales and marketing department, so to speak, at least at some
Yeah.
point. So as you're growing and continuing to go down that pathway, that's really exciting. So tell me a little bit about how your process is going in terms of setting not only yourself up for success, but the department when you have hires coming in for success, and like how are you thinking about all of that? Because that's a lot. That's no small undertaking.
It is no small undertaking, and honestly, I'm really excited for those days to come. Believe me, when I get the A-OK, I've got plans for what I need and all of it ASAP. I really, first of all, want to embrace my nonlinear path, and I when you're looking to build a team, it's always important to come first with a realization about what you bring to the table. And I think embracing that. I'm very fortunate with my founders and principal that they really trust me and understand that I bring something very different than they do. And that was very strategic for them. I work with so many engineers and know that I can have the best minds available, but we really need to have different personalities, a different set of, reps over on this side so that we can really drive and communicate the mission and vision effectively. So, knowing I don't come from a very linear path, I think it's important to not only look for those people also, but also look for personalities sometimes that do. And, because I need a complementary team to what I bring to the table here. So, but also there are foundations that I'm always looking for in people, like curiosity, someone who is adaptable, someone who has a passion for solving these problems, who can really understand what the engineers are bringing to the table and communicating that to potential clients, and even having passion for those client projects, because it's not our vision, but at the end of the day, we're really telling the story of so many founders and saying, this is how we help them. This is what they're doing. Look at their success. And that's so important. And to be able to connect the dots across so many disciplines for people as well. Like, my tactical advice for somebody who wants to approach my team is kind of approach it with that curiosity, but at the same time, or show me that you're going to be a student of the business. We just shared about how, you have to learn so much, so you have to do that extra research on top of your everyday, do your homework. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who's going to dive in no matter where they're from in order to be the best version of themselves and support this team. I'm looking for somebody who is really going to be investing in their brand, because I'm doing that as well. I think that's important. I think that's important for my engineers and my founders as well. People buy from people and not logos, right? You're a great example of that, Lindsey. I need people to show up consistently as well. Consistency sells as well. And also authenticity. I'm a big fan of that. I think that's probably coming across very evidently right now. I'm not a fan of the perfect resume, but I'm a fan of when you show up authentically, consistently, and show the effort, that's when you win the sale and when you connect with someone authentically.
Yeah.
So in terms of leadership with that nonlinear path, the foundation of that, no matter where you are, is crucial, is non-negotiable.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. And it's really exciting to get to know you at this particular period of time too, because it's fun to watch, and get to see the growth and expansion of your whole business and company and whatnot. And so speaking of that, can you tell us a little bit more about the company, who it serves, how it helps the medtech world?
Ontogen? Oh, yes. Love to. So we are really soup to nuts, everything for your startup med tech team. Truly, I have a wonderful team of engineers who can take a napkin design that you have, a dream, a vision, and take you through that design development process. We can help you with quality management system, regulatory strategy, and execution. We can even help you with contract manufacturing. So truly, and I think people don't believe that, and it's so much to digest. But when you're really looking for a partner out there who can be a part of your team, an integrated part of your team that has wonderful communication, we are truly those people. And my founders have an incredible passion for what they do, which is why they started this, which is why they keep adding things capabilities that we can do and give to the world. And especially in the Chicagoland area, this is not a hub yet for medtech yet. We are going to be growing that. And, there are other partners out in our space around here that are growing, that are really diving in. And that's our goal for this year. That's our strategy, not only to get our name out there, but also to really have those wonderful relationships with our ecosystem in the Chicagoland area. Well, beginning here and then, the world. But that's our goal. So, if you want to look for someone to help you with design and start us out there, try us out there, you're absolutely open to do that. But we do have this habit of getting people early and then helping them into that growth stage. So that's our goal for you, for the early founder out there, is to grow with us so that, we can get you there. And then they can take over the world.
Yeah. There you go. I love that. I love that. And I think it's so cool that you're able to come alongside companies like that and literally help them from that, sketch all the way to
Literally.
development, like the whole process. That's very cool. Yeah.
The whole process, because so many people out there, and I understand, it's so hard to, I think, really know where to look to and where to go, and so many pitfalls from founders are experienced in those in-between times. They come to a company that can do X, Y, Z for them, but they can't do then the ABC of it. And some people think they're ready for certain stages, and we're able to say, hey, we know you might think you're there, but wow, we see this opportunity a few steps back. If you'd start here, then we can actually get you here a little bit quicker without having to look for a new partner. We can help you do all of that. And it does require a little trust on the front end. In order to do that, we understand that, which is why I always say start out with that design, or even start out with a brainstorm. If you have an idea for something and you just need to see, is this feasible? We can just do a quick 1-hour brainstorm with you. We're actually going to be doing that with a company soon for diagnostics, which is really exciting because that was the pitch. They said, well, we're really interested, but I don't know. I said, hey, let's go in, let's work this out. Let's see what ideas we come up with. Let's see if this is feasible with my team first. And then we can go from there. No need to commit to everything right up front.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yes. That's a great approach too. I think it's helpful also in the idea of, like you kind of mentioned, is the building trust component of not saying, oh, you're locked in with us forever and ever, amen. But no, we are coming alongside you. We want to be partners with you. We care. I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say we care just as much, about the success of you and bringing this life-saving device to the world. So yeah, I love that approach.
Absolutely. And honestly, sometimes I'm in there with my R&D managers and they're like, if they would just let us do this one thing, we really think that this would be great. Like, how can we get them to really see that, like, this can be better? Like, they care so much. And, really, I just need more angel investor friends for them so that we can, do all of the things that we really want to do for all of our clients. That's my PSA. I need more angel investor and VC friends so that we can truly make their dreams come true with their devices.
I love that. Okay. Good call to action there for listeners here. So, you've had a really amazing career and you've done lots and lots of different things within the med tech industry. Have there been any moments that really stood out to you as just affirming, wow, man, I am in the right place at the right time?
Oh my goodness. Well, I definitely remember the first time I knew I could do it. There are a few moments along the way that I affirm where I'm on the right path, right? Truly, anytime you get a new job, you're like, okay, well, somebody's still going to hire me. We're still here. This is great. We're still going here. But the first time I really figured out that this was the right place for me was meeting a medical device sales rep. I met a new friend. I was in the retail merchandising space, kind of, figuring out what my next step was. Do I keep going here? Do I try to do leadership within the retail space? Or do I go into something else? And I met this wonderful friend. She was an orthopedic sales rep. And we were talking about our jobs. And I was like, oh my goodness, what we do sounds so similar, but you help people's lives, like you have a direct impact on the surgeon. Like, you set them up for success so that they can execute their surgery right. Like, that's so amazing and impactful. And really, they made a lot more money than I did, frankly speaking, which doesn't hurt. But it was truly that moment when I was going over it with her and then starting to throw ideas about my next step. And she goes, oh, yeah, you could do that. Oh, yeah. What you do, like, you just add my terms in there, my vernacular, and put you in front of a surgeon, and that's it. And I said, okay, you know what? You get to help people. I want to help people. I want to have an impact. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And I just keep finding ways that parts of the industry that keep me excited. And there's no shortage of that here. There's literally something new every day. There's a new product that we're helping bring to market. There's a new part of the industry that is emerging, evolving, that you need to learn. That was probably the most impactful moment for me to really know that I was on the right path here.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Yes. And I think it's so cool that you have many moments to draw from, because it sounds like the inspiration keeps coming, which is always super helpful, because of course you're going to have good and bad days. So being able to draw on, oh my goodness, the series of how exciting is this to be able to play a part, that's great. Well, all right. Pivoting the conversation a little bit just for fun. Imagine that you were to be offered $1 million to teach a masterclass on anything you want. Could be in your industry. It doesn't have to be. What would you choose to teach?
This is going to be really left field. This is this is for, and Lindsey, I don't know if you enjoy the franchise The Real Housewives or not.
I've never watched an episode.
Or if any listen.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Catch me up.
I will. There's too much. I'll have a brain dump after this.
Okay.
There will be homework to it. You think the med tech industry is hard. Let's go. It truly be about the Real Housewives and their impact on the reality landscape, and also the personal branding evolution of the reality stars. It's really a case study in marketing. And as a marketer, you really would look into that heavily, because a lot of those women either create products out of that, or, I mean, some of them do go to prison, unfortunately, as well, but I wouldn't look into those as much. There's a strong pipeline there. But a lot of the businesses that are created from women from this platform is truly astonishing. And there really needs to be a course about it, like an MBA level course about it, and the successful women who have come from it.
Yes. I love it. Oh my goodness. That is out of left field. That is probably the most interesting answer I have ever heard about. Not expecting it. Love it. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You can start with Bethany Frankel. She's a great one. I'm sure you've heard of her before. Maybe Skinny Girl Margarita. Oh, not a paid plug for her. Yes, she's a great one. But there are many. There are many out there. Okay. Yes. Start with her.
All right. Homework. Excellent. And then how do you wish to be remembered after you leave this world?
How do I wish to be remembered? I hope to be remembered as a very supportive person to my friends, my family, my support system. When you are part of when you're in, and truly, no matter what you need, if you give a call in the middle of the night, I, will jump out of my bed to go and help, whatever it is that you need. I try to be truly that ride or die for my friends, my family, And I really hope that's what I'm remembered for, because everyone needs a wonderful support system and someone to, stand alongside you, hold your hand sometimes, and be that cheerleader. So I try to be that. I have people who are so wonderful in my life who are that for me. And yeah, like if you imagine, heaven forbid, it's like, your funeral, but I do imagine that they are there truly like pom-poms in their hand, being my cheerleader, because I've been a cheerleader to so many people. That is my dream, with some sort of like Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey song probably going at the same time or something. That would be
Naturally.
with the Real Housewives,
Oh my,
just playing in the background, just my masterclass, playing for everyone, the marathon of it. That would really and probably like a puppy yoga fostering situation happening at the same time, because everyone needs to rescue and foster a puppy at some point. So that would be the pinnacle of my life.
it's very specific requests. I love it. We're gonna have it's gonna be
Yes,
a
absolutely.
list event, and it's like weird, like because you're supposed to, you're sad, but also puppies. So
Puppies, for sure. Absolutely. There would be, I'd be like, everyone has to leave with a rescue puppy. Like, these are my
mandatory.
final wishes. Mandatory.
Yeah, I love it.
Mandatory. Absolutely.
Amazing. All right, and then final question: what is one thing that makes you smile every time you see or think about it?
Puppies. Rescue puppies. My dogs specifically, they make me smile every time. Heaven forbid you are following me on Instagram or something and see my dogs just all the time. I am unfortunately that person. But also, if you need a rescue puppy at any time, probably know like 3 people off the top of my head who I can get you a puppy like now. So there are always puppies on some sort of social media. So that always makes me smile.
I love it. No, I had a really strong suspicion that was going to be your answer. So I am delighted that you chose puppies, because that works for me too. I love animals in general, and it's like
Yeah.
they just make me smile randomly. I'm just like, they're just happy, It's so cute. I just love them.
They are so happy. I did foster 3 puppies at one time, and that was a lot, but there was a lot of happiness. You're just like, they're a little crazy. They're just, all over each other, but they're, playing, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Aw.
there's nothing better right now than the happiness of these puppies.
Yes, that's amazing. I just love that so much. My goodness. Well, this has been an amazing conversation, Emily, and took several twists and turns I didn't expect and absolutely love. And we are so honored to be making a donation on your behalf as a thank you for your time today to Save the Children, which works to end the cycle of poverty by ensuring communities have the resources to provide children with a healthy, educational, and safe environment. So thank you so much for choosing that charity to support. And also, thank you for continuing to work to change lives for a better world. We're grateful, and I wish you the most amazing continued success.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This was truly a pleasure. Well, thank you so much. Really, I appreciate it.
Of course.
The Leading Difference is brought to you by Velentium Medical. Velentium Medical is a full-service CDMO serving medtech clients worldwide to securely design, manufacture, and test Class 2 and Class 3 medical devices. Velentium Medical's 4 units include research and development, pairing electronic and mechanical design, embedded firmware, mobile app development, and cloud systems, with the human factor studies and systems engineering necessary to streamline medical device regulatory approval. Contract manufacturing, building medical products at the prototype, clinical, and commercial levels in the U.S. as well as in low-cost regions in 1345 certified and FDA-registered Class 7 clean rooms. Cybersecurity, generating the 12 cybersecurity design artifacts required for FDA submission. And automated test systems, assuring that every device produced is exactly the same as the device that was approved. Visit ValentiumMedical.com to explore how we can work together to change lives for a better world.